have like a very limited like Australian music soundtrack. I apologize. I'm TstreeT Controversy, TstreeT Controversy Live, your boxing insomniac, 6:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get right to the point. I do my videos live, uncut, unedited. Yes, Disney sponsored, as you see the advertisements. I'm really proud of myself. But I went on a mission about 1.5 years ago, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to just cover American boxing. I'm going to cover all of that shit. And right now, it's been working to my benefit. For example, right now, not to toot my own horn, but I'm the #1 boxing reviewer on YouTube of Australian boxing. So when it comes to that, that means that, oh shit, I got to start reviewing more Australian boxing fights. But the problem with that is, in the United States right now, Eastern Standard Time, I have to wake up, or be up to about 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. And guess what? I'm always up that time. I never sleep. So it's no problem to me, and that's why I do it so gracefully. So today we're going to talk about something that is going to be controversial, but at the same time, we got to talk about it, and people are going to think I'm crazy, but it means a lot. We're going to talk about Canelo Alvarez versus Anthony Mundine. Now, first, let's talk about Canelo Alvarez. Now, I may seem to be rambling a little bit if you look at my schedule. I've been doing videos all times of the night over the last couple of days, but you got to follow me. I'm sure I'm going to make sense as time goes on in the video. So, you got Canelo Alvarez, right, who will not be fighting Miguel Cotto on Cinco de Mayo. Why? Is because if you don't know how Miguel Cotto does business, for one, you got to go through his friend, his best friend, that formerly fat guy. I think he had gastric bypass or something. Anyway, moving on. Miguel Cotto is a very professional type dude. So for Canelo being young, despite how many pay-per-view buys Canelo had with Angulo and Iris Landy Lara and what Cotto didn't have with Sergio Martinez, despite all that, Cotto has a belt, and in Cotto's mind, he is A-side, and as he should be over the younger up-and-coming fighter. And also, he has a belt, Canelo does not. We're gonna talk. Because see, that people get confused about that. So when Canelo started talking all this stuff in social media and doing these interviews when he signed up with HBO, talking about he's going to be fighting on Cinco de Mayo. He's taking it away from Mayweather. And then he started throwing Cotto name. So I'm thinking to myself, as soon as I heard that, now imagine this, right? Think about what you know about Cotto. Look at his facial expressions and tell me that he probably wasn't sitting home with that straight-ass face he be having like. Cotto is not the type of fighter. He don't like that. If he's A-side, he don't want you running your mouth. He had it to the point. Him and Freddie Roach had it to the point where Sergio Martinez was like, fuck all that shit. All right, well, you can get everything you want. Like, the negotiations was getting so tough because each time Miguel Cotto and Roach was like, you know what? We A-side. Like, if you don't, I don't give a fuck if you got a belt or not. We A-side. So if you don't take what we want, then we're going to walk away. Sergio Martinez was a boss because he was like, listen, I don't give a fuck about none of that politics shit. You want to have this, you want to have that, go ahead, take it. And then that's why he was talking to him. Like, look at the face-off with Max Kellerman. Go back and watch it. Look at the face-off with Max Kellerman, Sergio Martinez, and Cotto. And you just see Sergio Martinez just annoyed by him in his chair, like, this bitch-ass motherfucker talking to me, like, like I don't give a fuck, And then, you got Cotto wearing all this pink. But anyway, moving on. Canelo is without an opponent. Canelo was supposed to fight Joshua Clottey, but he came down with an ankle injury in which fans feel was fake. I'm not saying it was fake. It maybe was something that's been going on with Canelo, kind of like the Carl Froch situation currently going on. It may have been something with that. He's like, well, I had this ankle injury for a couple of years. I've been boxing with him. I might as well get it fixed now. Because maybe he didn't want to lose to a very good Joshua Clottey. Joshua Clottey is good. Now, for some reason, he hasn't been the same fighter after the Manny Pacquiao fight where people feel he got paid off. Whatever the case may be, he put a whooping on Anthony Mundine. But not only that, he showed something that he did not have before. And also, you have to think, right? Putting Canelo against Joshua Clottey at this point in time in Canelo's career, it could be one of those controversial type decisions because Clottey don't get knocked out. It could be one of them controversial type decisions where, who's going to control the tempo. And Joshua Clottey, he'll keep coming for you. But Canelo, his punch rate realistically is kind of low, especially if you move around on him. So, not saying Joshua Clottey does, but the point I'm trying to make is this. He has no belt. Floyd Mayweather is the WBC and WBA Super World 154-pound champion. Erislandy Lara, who he fought as the WBA regular, that belt really doesn't mean nothing. I don't think Canelo should go after a belt like that. You look at the WBO, Demetrius Andrade has it, and guess what? Demetrius Andrade would beat Canelo, you know? I look at this. Demetrius Andrade would fight a better fight than Erislandy Lara did. Demetrius Andrade will make his punches stick, and Demetrius Andrade, even though he may not do that much moving, that Cuban style moving that Lara was doing, still he will make his punches stick, and also, you know, that reach, my God, you know, Canelo gonna be chasing him around all night. But that's just my own personal opinion. And yes, Andrade's been down before in the past. Then you have IBF champ, Cornelius K9 Bundrick. Now you put Canelo and K9 together, you think that would be a good fight, but at the same time, where is the money in that? HBO would pick it up, yeah, but realistically, how could they really, you know, they would basically be selling, no disrespect to K9, but at the same time, you know, he knows that at this point in time, yes, he has the championship, but, you know, the draw is not really there, you know, like, unless he fights somewhere, you know, I forgot where he's from, my apologies, but I just don't see why Canelo, right, if he wants to go after Mayweather again and he can't get Cotto, and you want to fight on May the 2nd, now this is going to be a little crazy, follow me. The WBC green belt is the most coveted belt in boxing. Now the ring belt is kind of like a complimentary belt, but the WBC green belt is the best belt in boxing, in my opinion, but many would tell you so. The WBC 140, 147, 154, and heavyweight means a lot. So I think to myself, well, Anthony Mundine is the #1 contender for Floyd Mayweather's WBC title, and Floyd Mayweather is supposed to be going over, or if not, has met with Anthony Mundine already, but my understanding is that Floyd Mayweather is supposed to be taking a trip to Australia, an Australian tour, you know, every now and then he travels around. Remember, he went to South Africa. And of course, he's going to, you know, obviously speak to Anthony Mundine. These are not guys that haven't met before. You know, you got to understand, like boxers, it's not personal. You know, so these are not guys who make, oh, I'm not going to go fucking see this guy. You know, it's not like that. And also, when it comes to Australian boxing, people have to understand when it comes to Australian boxing, it's Anthony Mundine. The boxing market there is not as big as what you think it is, but at the same time, the people there had to fight of. I'm not going to get into it because then I'll be getting into a fucking goddamn Australian boxing history lesson. But long story short, his dad is well respected. He was a respected rugby player, and now he's, I forgot, what is he, 39 or 40? He's not 40 yet. I don't want to be putting his age up there. But long story short, he wants to become the only champion to win, the only world champion to win championships in descending weight classes. Now, for him to be fighting at 154 pounds is just crazy, outrageous for him to be as old as he is, coming down all those different times. But at the same time, you have to think, well, those rugby players, you know, they take care of their bodies well. So, I think, well, Canelo doesn't have a belt. You want to fight on May the 2nd. Why don't you go fight Anthony Mundine, and then the fight will be on like early in the morning in Mexico and in the United States. So therefore, it would be so okay, all right. So on Cinco de Mayo, right? The fans would be able to, and this is crazy, I know, but look, maybe this is the promoter talking to me, maybe, but you'll make more money fighting Anthony Mundine overseas to get a belt than fighting him in the States, because over there, you could probably put that shit in a stadium. So I'm thinking, if you want to fight on Cinco de Mayo, why not be on that global pay-per-view scale in the morning time over? Because remember, right now is when it's 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, the co-main event would be on for an Australian boxing fight. So you think, well, you wake up or whatever you're doing, you know, start your day with some Canelo Alvarez, you know, in a comeback fight, you know, to us over the United States and Mexico, to be like, oh, Alvarez fighting overseas in a comeback fight. HBO picked it up on a late delay, and then later on that night you got Mayweather versus Pacquiao. I'm probably not explaining it the best way I can because it's early, but what I'm trying to say is, marketing wise, it would work. So you have to ask yourself, well, when is he going to get a belt again? Is he going to get a belt? And then I try to think of other fighters out there, like really honestly, at 154 and 160 pounds, What fight would be better for him? Now, you can say David Lemieux, but you got to think, look at the politics. Golden Boy just signed him. They got big plans for that fight in the future. Can't happen now. Gennady Golovkin is already sewn up for February. You want to have Canelo if he's not going to fight. You want to have Canelo back if he hasn't fought since July of last year. You want to have him back at May or before May. So when you look at the Golovkin fight, you got to say, okay, right now, if we wanted to be his next fight back, many people think that Canelo would be able to I said eat, but I said he'd be able to eat him. But many people feel that Anthony Mundine would lose to Canelo. So I think on myself, like, well, wait a minute. Honestly, who else would you really fight Canelo? And then if you want a title again, if it's easy work, go get it. So also you have to think, Anthony Mundine has a great story behind him, especially with the crazy 2014 he had, in which he should not have been fighting as many times as he did. This is my personal opinion, because he just was going to the well. I'm thinking like, yo, you gonna fight again? How about again? And then when he fought Josh Clottey, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, you just fought like 3 months ago. So to each his own. There's storylines behind it. It could sell, the other fight he can go for, honestly, you can look at the fact that he does not want to move up to 160 pounds. So another fight he can go for is the K9 fight on national television. But I think like, well, I mean, not on national television, on HBO. And I think like, well, I just don't know. But that's only my personal opinion, of course. Anthony Mundine and his promoter, shout out to Ben Thompson, and shout out to Boxer Sports Apparel. I'm going to get some of your stuff too. Give me a couple of weeks. I did a video yesterday. I got a lot of shit going on. Like, the channel's upgrading. I'm going to the Fox Sports 1 card as media ringside. It's going to be really like early in the morning for you guys over there in Australia. But basically, Eric Hunter's going to be taking on Rene Alvarado. I'm going to be there covering our event. Interviews, post-fight, press conference, weigh-in, yada, yada. Bernard Hopkins' 50th birthday party. But at the same time, I just want to make sure you guys over there in Australia know that I'm making some heavy advancements. And right now, yes, I do want to take over, as far as YouTube is concerned, the Australian boxing market, because I'm always up around that time. So those fights be on. But the only problem I have is I got to find somebody over there to be able to purchase a streaming service, where I can, something like Box Nation, where I can be able to watch your fights over here, because I literally got to go through hell and high water to watch Australian fights. Yeah, I always get it, but it always be at the last minute. I'm like, I got Gio versus Fletcher. I finally found a way to watch that at like round 7. And by that time, we already know what happened with that. Fletcher was getting ran down on. So that's the only thing that really stopping me, because you got a lot of, good prospects over there. Oh, and to address that WBC Rabchenko thing, looked into that. Apparently, it looks like Ricky Hatton was blowing smoke, because it's like, if the WBC didn't notify him, then it's like, well, the WBC has been very vocal in the media, and letting people know, as I talked about the mandatories earlier, that this person is going to have to fight this person. So Mundine won that fight cleanly. Now, they say it was judge controversy because 2 of the judges was Australian. But looking at the fight, the cards were close, But I haven't found anyone that disputed that Mundine won that fight. And Rabchenko was fucking tough. His body shots were mean. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Like I said, I'm going to be media call for Brandon Rios versus Mike Alvarado 3. Bernard Hopkins' 50th birthday party. Fox Sports 1. Eric Hunter Rene Alvarado card. So as far as live videos like this, right now it's 6:34 a.m. January the 19th, 2015. I was going to say 2014. Still getting on that habit. Martin Luther King Day. Please subscribe.